This is where it all began. Over a decade ago, I was right here on a V-Star 250 to get my MSF course license or permit, whatever you want to call it. It's probably 13, 14 years later. I'm on the bike of my dreams, and I've just hit 4 miles away from hitting 1,000 miles on the Kawasaki ZX-4RR. Haven't had it quite a year yet, and I don't ride as much as I would like to, but I have a good relationship with this bike. I have a good feeling of what it's all about. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this bike, my ownership experience, things that I like, don't like, do I regret buying the bike? We're going to tackle that all today. There you see 996 miles. She purrs. One of the biggest reasons I bought this bike was the sound of screaming to almost 16,000 RPM. Sounds better when you're on it than even just revving it at 0 miles per hour. So let's put it into first and talk about I am kind of curious. Like, I don't remember all the MSF drills and whatnot, but I remember not being comfortable on that Yamaha V-Star 250. I was not comfortable at all. All right, and I ended up getting a Ninja 250. All right, I had that bike for maybe 6 months, and then I had to get rid of it. I was getting married, there's a kid coming, so you guys know life gets in the way of riding, or should I say riding gets in the way of life. Oh man. But shall we just visor down, crack it? Oh Lord. All right, so why did I buy this bike? We'll start there. Why did I buy the ZX-4RR? This is actually my first crotch rocket, I guess you could say. I had the MT-09 before this. I had the Ninja 250, which is kind of like an imitation, wannabe crotch rocket. Why did I buy this bike? Well, I think there's a cop right there, so I can't, you probably heard me revving it to the moon. So I bought this because I didn't need a lot of power, but I wanted the looks of a sport bike. I wanted the suspension, the brakes of the sport bike, and I wanted the sound of an inline-4 screamer. All right, and this bike gave it to me. However, it did cost a lot of money. These are about $10,000. It is expensive for the power you get, but the experience you get on here is worth every penny. Okay, it's the more you ride, the more you learn. Like, riding is not about specs; it's about what makes you happy. And this bike still, it should. I mean, I just hit 1,000 miles here in a little bit. It makes me happy still after 1,000 miles. I look forward to riding every time I throw a leg over this bike. All right. So, what are the things that I don't like about the bike after 1,000 miles? Okay, there's a nice kite bird there. Well, there's very few things, so it might sound biased. Is this another cop? What is going on? This is like the 4th cop I've seen on the road today. Like, what is going on? I don't think that was a cop because I saw a rosary around the rearview mirror, but that just stinks of like undercover cop, that one. Okay. Okay, so some of the cons of the bike. Well, crack the throttle. It goes, but there's no torque. It's not ever gonna like whip you for whiskey throttling. I mean, at low speeds it absolutely will, but once you're up to speed, you have to be in the perfect gear. And even then, it doesn't really go unless you're in the absolute perfect RPM for this bike, which is above 10,000 RPM. All right, it still sounds good at all RPMs. With this Graves exhaust, watch my exhaust reviews because I have a Graves Titanium right now. I also have the Yoshimura AT2. They both sound great. They sound a little bit different. I like the looks of this one. I think it fits the style of this bike and this 40th anniversary. And I got the 40th anniversary because I had to have this color scheme. You know, the colors I think have gotten a little bit better in my opinion with the green and yellow for 2025. There's the white one or kind of gray. I like that too. But the black and green I think is really ugly on this bike, and I just couldn't buy it with that. But this is the best color scheme by far on the ZX-4RR. Okay, let's just. I forget where, you know, it's just so intoxicating once you get to the upper rev limits that I forget which, like, where gear 2 ends. Gear 2 ends at 80, which is plenty fast. All right, that's about as fast as any highway or interstate speed limit, right? But things I don't like about the bike, well, fuel economy. I guess, like, after I got this flashed, it probably went from low 40s to mid 30s, mid to upper 30s. And it probably doesn't help that when I get on this bike, I like red lighting it. I like pushing it past 10, 12,000 RPM and just letting this thing be its own. It's so fun. And then this is just probably a small annoyance, but like, I can't complain too much. Around 60 miles an hour, I'll just accelerate here a little bit. Around 60, I feel like that's where it's comfortable with the aerodynamics, unless you're in a full top. I'm pretty tall, I'm 6'1" for this bike. I like my ergonomics on the bike, but in terms of wind blast, and I have the MRA windscreen on here, and it's still, like, I feel like I still want more wind protection. Because even at 60, you start feeling, it feels good, but you get much faster than that. I like everything, the looks, the sound, the performance, the comfort, the tech. Even I can care less about tech. I guess it's good to have different drive modes and whatever. I just stay in, oh, this is really cop. Good thing I just got off the throttle there. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, let's talk about all the things I love about this bike, okay? The quick shifter is really good. It's not perfect. It's a little chunky from 1 to 2. All right, I like manual shifting almost all the time when I'm doing city, and I'm not like pushing it. If I'm full throttle on this, I'm using the quick shifter. Anything less, I'm manual shifting, and like the clutch is just butter on here. It's so smooth. I love the adjustable levers too. The comfort, it's nice and upright for a sport bike, but it's not like sport touring where like at the GSX-8R you're like up high. Even the CBR 650, you're up higher than this bike, and I just feel like this is a perfect balance of your feet being high, so you have good ground clearance in the turns, and aggressive enough handlebar position to have a good control over the bike, but not like, I'm never uncomfortable on here. That's the thing with, I've been on a lot of other bikes. Hopefully that Dragonfly's not on this. You know, anyway, the comfort here is, you know, I can be on this bike for a long time, and I'm never exhausted. The rear seat could be a little bit softer after sitting on some Triumphs, but honestly, it's a super comfortable bike with the ergonomics. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, the handling, I don't have a lot of turns in Florida. I mean, it's pretty much straight all the time. But when I do put this in a turn, it feels glued. And I've ridden a few other sport bikes, mainly, I mean, the last one that I rode was a Hayabusa, which is kind of its own thing, right? And that thing just felt a little shaky in the turns. It was way too, like, twitchy. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is a big bike. It's a heavy bike. Why is it twitchy in the turns? Like, it just didn't feel very solid. This bike feels like absolutely glued when you put it on the line, all right? The suspension on here is so soft, but it still gives me enough firmness that when I get on the brakes, there's not that much nosedive. I'm about 200 pounds. I haven't even touched the adjustable suspension on here for preload or anything. I haven't touched it. I find this bike to be really comfortable. And the suspension setup to me is, I'm happy with it. I don't feel like I need to mess with it from the factory. But that's just me. If I took it to a track, I would want it to be firmer for sure. But for everyday usage, I mean, from the factory, I'm really, really happy with the comfort of the suspension, the show a big piston that works up front. And of course, you have a preload adjustment in the back as well. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, good. You're going the other way. You just never know. I get the sound from this Graves, or even any slip-on is going to sound way, way better. I had the Kaufmans for a bit. It was just too loud for me, and that's a big boat. Kaufmans is a little too loud, and it was just, it didn't fit the aesthetic of my 40th anniversary, but I'm sure on the black models looks real good. I haven't changed the air filter. I got the ECU flash, which you must do. All right, you have to do that to this bike to unlock the top end and the extra 20 horsepower. Like, that's for the North American market, or should I say specifically the United States market, due to the California, all the stupid rules they have. But once you have this unlocked, I use V-cycle nuts. You know, it's not a perfect flash. I feel like there are some dead spots in second gear at times where it just feels like it's not climbing linearly. But compared to factory, like, it's so much better. And then you get the rewarding top end, which this engine is designed for, to go to 15,000+ RPM. All right, so I gotta get, that's $300. It's not that big of a deal. $300 for 20 horsepower is a no-brainer. Yeah, you just gotta take the tank off, pull out the ECU, ship it. He flashes it for you, sends it back. It takes about a week. I did that when I was in Japan last year, so I didn't even miss a thing. Didn't skip a beat. And this bike, you know, it's a one of a kind, really, in the United States market anyways. You have larger inline fours. You don't have any smaller inline fours. This is the smallest inline four you can get in the United States. It sounds so good. The performance is fantastic. It's not the lightest bike in the world. It's about 420 pounds, something like that. But to me, it's still my dream bike. All right, the drawbacks of this bike, the lack of torque, and maybe not the best fuel economy, are something I can absolutely live with. For how fun this bike is, geez, dude, how fun this bike is, how enjoyable it is just to look at and to hear. And also another reason I bought this over like a ZX-6R was that, one, I don't need the speed like I mentioned, but the insurance was a lot cheaper on this bike for me. Now it's going to vary from location to person to age, all that stuff, your record. But the insurance was, I think, about 2/3 of the price, or maybe less, compared to a ZX-6R. So that just like yeah, no brainer to me why I bought this bike over a ZX-6R. I've already made a video about that. So I forgot to mention, I even got the frame sliders on here from, I think, Graves. Graves has the best looking frame sliders for this bike. So yeah, ZX-4RR. The only thing I want now is more competition for this bike. I want to see what Honda, if Honda can bring that CBR 400RR, the Super 4 back. I think that'd be amazing. But I already think this is pretty much peak bike for me. I can go faster. I don't want to. I can have a naked bike. I don't want to. I don't like the aesthetic of them, and they're not that comfortable to me being that upright. I like being bent over a little bit. That's what she said. I like the looks. I like the sound of an inline four. It's literally the perfect bike for me. All right. Maybe I do wish the tank was a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll say that, because I feel like I'm filling this bike up all the time with getting about 36 miles per gallon. All right, I want to say it's got a 3.5 gallon tank, something like that. I wish I had 2 more gallons of gas for this bike. I could always bring some, like, you know, an additional can if I wanted to, and put some, like a top case on here, a top bag, a magnetic bag. I can put some, you know, I could turn this into a touring bike if I wanted to. Like I said, at 60 miles an hour, this bike will do it all day long in pure comfort. All right. So I'm going to shut it down there. 1,008 miles with a ZX-4RR, and I love it. It's super comfortable. It makes me happy. Sounds great. All the performance I could ask for from the engine, to the brakes, to the suspension, to just the stability that this bike provides. Like, why do you need more performance for the streets and even for the track? I mean, like, it's an awesome bike for the track. And I hear people say, "Kirk, can you take it to the track?" I mean, the track is about 2 hours from me, minimum. Driving 2 hours to a track, or riding 2 hours to track, I know that's why a lot of people put these on a trailer. I get it, because you save your energy for the track. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Signing off from my 1,000 mile review of the ZX-4RR. Zero regrets. Don't plan on trading it for any other bike. This is still my dream bike, and I look forward to riding it all the time. Have a good day.